Hola mi gente, yo soy Jessica Medina and you're watching En la Escena. Estamos aquí with director and producer Albert Xavier, who's here to talk to us about his new film, Hemafrodita. Up next, mi entrevista con Albert Xavier, filmmaker dominicano, Escena. Today we're here with producer and director Albert Xavier to talk about his new film, Hemafrodita. Hola Albert, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. ¿Cómo te sientes hoy?
I feel good. Thank you for having me here on the show. Me siento muy agradecido de ser parte de este programa, que sé que se ve a nivel mundial en el internet. Y de verdad que me siento muy bien de la invitación que ustedes me hicieron.
Now, for those, Albert, that do not know about your cultural background, can you please give us a brief explanation about what you've done and what you're currently doing?
My background is a little bit of everything. Comes from the melting pot of New York. Estudié aquí en Nueva York en cine en la Universidad de Nueva York. And then I broke into the television industry, having my own TV show on Galavisión. Went into Univision, worked for E! Entertainment. Broke into Paramount Pictures to work with Showtime for a television show called Resurrection Boulevard. And then next thing you know, I was being repped by an agency out in LA, and I was able to get commercials, which helped me build some money. Y después ya que yo pude establecerme financially, I was able to go back to the Dominican Republic and start making Dominican films. And my first film, Pasaporte Rojo, which was made 4 years ago, got picked up by major distribution, Madonna's production company, Maverick. They picked up the rights worldwide, and the film had generated within the last 4 years $25 million. And then from there, I was able to actually finance my brand new movie, which is what I'm premiering basically around the world now, going through film festivals, Hemafrodita.
So, what made you decide to make this new movie, Hemafrodita? What was your inspiration to making this new film?
Well, the inspiration came to me basically at the film festival in Havana, in Cuba, where en realidad me estaban entrevistando para una revista sobre Pasaporte Rojo que se estaba presentando en Havana, y entonces ocurrió que un muchacho escuchó la entrevista, and then he's like, hey man, I'll take you to an ice cream parlor. If I tell you this story, it's something that happened to me with a chick that's got two sexes, and you make this film, it's going to be a hit. And I was like, what are you talking about? So he talks to me about this hermaphrodite, which I never even heard the word of. And I was like, what are you talking about, a hermaphrodite? Maybe you're talking about transgender? You're talking about transsexual? I said, no, the person's born with two sexes. So I fell in love with this chick. I thought she was a chick. She had the two sexes. She hid it from me for 5-6 years. And then next thing you know, I found out, and boom, something happened.
So the concept of this movie was based on something that happened in real life to one of your friends.
Yeah, exactly. It's based on a true story, but we have to say que it's based on true events, basado en hechos reales, because there was a lot of things that we had to create based on the character who's the hermaphrodite, which were things that he never knew about, which, of course, she lied to him. So we had to recreate that and then make the movie a little bit more interesting to make it more dramatical and more thrillerish.
Well, I gather that most of your cast is relatively new in this film. ¿Por qué decidiste hacer eso?
Bueno, uno, el mercado dominicano de lo que ha existido en los últimos años. Bueno, muchas películas dominicanas se hacen en Dominicana y se presentan en Dominicana, y después, they're considered what's called el cine criollo. Cine criollo means that you make a Dominican film and it stays in the Dominican Republic. It doesn't go to film festivals. No one in New York is going to see it. If it does, it will come to New York on a DVD pirateado, and somebody has a copy of it and whatever. But what happens is that in the Dominican Republic, the actors are not. I'm not going to say they're not actors. Okay, I take that back. Scratch that. But they don't have the training they need. They're supposed to have to be actors, to be at Hollywood standard. So, ¿qué pasa? Son personas que cogen de la televisión. Y esa gente que cogen de la televisión, Telemicro, Telesistema, Tele whatever, Telecentro, son gente que son comediantes. they're comedy, they're comedians, you know. So, and these directors are making these films. They keep using the same people over and over and over and over again. Now, in the Dominican Republic, you have theater. There's tons and tons and thousands of talent. They'll never ever get the opportunity to ever make a Dominican film. Why? Because a lot of these directors, they stay with their own group. So I wanted to break that. I wanted to like actually, you know, sort of like, yo quería como romper, bueno, en realidad quería comenzar algo nuevo y abrirle la puerta a esos que tienen talento, que pueden tener la oportunidad de brillar en una película, para que no solamente que en Dominicana or only in the Dominican Republic they recognize them, but the world can see the talent, and which is why Hemafrodita has still, till this day, had not been seen in the Dominican Republic. This film has traveled to 7 countries around the world. It's scheduled to go to another 5 countries. It's participated in 7 film festivals. It won 2 awards. We're premiering this month here in New York City, which is why we're here. And then we're doing a U.S. tour. And then at the end of May, beginning of June, we open up in the entire island of the Dominican Republic. So we're doing like the backwards route of what everyone's been doing, the opposite of basically what everyone's been doing in the Dominican Republic. We just did the opposite of it, just to break that commodity that everyone's used to seeing.
Oh, well, sounds very interesting. Well, are there any new projects, algunos nuevos proyectos en cual ahora mismo estás trabajando, a pesar de la película?
Yeah, actually, I'm actually doing. I just finished writing a script, which we just got $2 million to make on a musical, which will be the next Dominican film. I like doing my Dominican films because I don't have a competition. I don't have to deal with the Martin Scorsese's and the Spike Lee's and all these guys. I make a film in the Dominican Republic. It's a box office sellout. I make millions of dollars. And if it's good enough, like Hemafrodita, to actually be accepted to all these gay, lesbian film festivals and straight festivals and black festivals and Arab festivals and Chinese festivals around the world, we send it to the point that maybe, we could get nominated for an Oscar at the end of the year for the year 2011. So my thing is to concentrate, just keep telling stories, Dominican stories, based on positive culture. Basically right now, like it's the music. Everybody knows what merengue is. Yes, merengue has been taken, they stamped the Dominican flag, I think, Japón. Bachata is worldwide. But when you look at Hollywood, there's movies about Ray, there's movies about Dreamgirls, there's movies about the Last Temptations or the Temptations or whatever you want to call it, Cadillac Records. But then now, estudiando esa fórmula de tipo de clase de películas que se hacen aquí, que son películas que son muy exitosas. Entonces, como nosotros tenemos historias, como por ejemplo la película que voy a hacer, es una película de la historia de los hermanos Rosario. Everybody knows who they are, right? So make a movie about their life. Follow it and just use the same formula that America has used with their musicals here and just formulate it as a Dominican film, a Dominican musical that will translate into a new soundtrack, translate into a concert tour around the world, and then also translate into a universal story that will actually travel to all the places that Los Hermanos Rosarios have performed around the world and actually open up and breed this new genre of Dominican cinema, not only in the Dominican Republic, but anywhere else in the world. Hemafrodita is coming out now. It's actually be coming out in sometime in May, June. We're in negotiations right now with either with Oprah Winfrey Lionsgate, which is Harpo, and then we just got another deal from HBO Latino, and then some independent financing who are also interested in actually releasing the film. So we're going that route because right now the film is here in New York, April 18th through the 19th in competition against 55 films. May 1st, it's presented by HBO at the Miami Gay Lesbian Film Festival in Miami, and then from there we go to Philadelphia to LA. But then we're opening up in the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Buenos Aires, and all the movie theaters. It's all about making movies.
Definitely. And we congratulate you, us here en La Escena, for all your success. Y todos sigan en sintonía con En La Escena. Yo soy Jessica Medina.
Vamos a poner traguito.
¿Qué diablo es esto?